Good evening. I'm Jonathan Higgins,
I'm Rich Carlson.
and we're the Scanner Guys, and welcome to the final Scanner Guys show for the month of May. We just came back from Dayton, which was really interesting, Hamvention.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it yet, check it out on the YouTube channel. We have a lot of the photos that we took on both Friday and Saturday part of the video. We also shot some video around the Dayton Hamvention, plus video on the setup day, which a lot of people don't actually see that. To see how that place basically transforms from what it is when the event opens to setup. A
Yeah,
lot
a
of
bunch of empty barns into a venue. Yeah.
yes, yeah. I mean, it was really awesome. I'm also going to probably work on posting some of those photos on our social media as well. So be on the lookout for that. It's been a crazy past couple of days. On Monday night, I actually sat down and edited the video. I finished up work and then I rolled into video mode and put together that video that everybody could see on
Yeah.
our channel. It was shot in 4K, so that's the first time that I've ever edited a video shot in 4K, which was pretty awesome.
And I watched it. That's about all I had to do with it. Well,
Yeah,
I was there for part of it,
yeah. I mean, it took a little bit of time to be able to put that together, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tonight we are turning the spotlight to you guys. So we're going to show off a lot of your shack photos this evening, and we're looking forward to the show. And um, we're hoping you guys will be wanting to send us your own shack photos. Let me display the email address in case you want to participate in our next shack show. So this is where you're going to email your shack photos, thescannerguys@gmail.com, thescannerguys@gmail.com, and you can send in your shack photos. Now, what we're looking for when you send in the shack photos, a brief description of what you have and a couple of photos. And then it can be your antenna farm, it can be your mobile shack, it can be, just your listening area where it's just one or two scanners. Doesn't need to be something that's got 30 40 scanners, just something where you listen from.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be big and complex. It's what works for you, and that's what we're interested in.
Yeah, so definitely email thescannerguys@gmail.com. So let's take a look at this evening's slideshow presentation. So this is the viewer shack photos for May the 25th of 2022. Now, we still have some of our Dayton Hamfest shirts available if you would like to purchase one of those. We saw a whole bunch of people with these on. You can purchase that through our website, thescannerguyshow.com, and you can purchase the Hamvention shirt. It goes for about $20, and they're usually pretty quick about it. High quality shirts.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I'd be wearing mine, except it's still in the wash from the weekend.
Yeah. So definitely check out the website as well for all of our other merchandise, hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, and all that. We will be doing a drawing, from the Dayton Hamvention for the two drawings that we have there. We just need to compile everything together, and then we'll do a drawing, and we'll announce that in the email blast, I believe. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Sign up for our newsletter, which is our email blast, right on our website, thescannerguyshow.com, and also shop our store. So a lot of great stuff on the website, so definitely do that. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to our social media as well on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at The Scanner Guys. And also check out the website as well, thescannerguyshow.com. All right, let's dive into the photos. We start off with Paul B. He actually submitted his shack photo here, which looks like a comfy spot right by the fireplace. He's got a lot of Uniden radios, and he also has the Unication pager. So
yeah, we're going to be seeing a few of those tonight, I think.
That classic 396 T with the silver faceplate.
Yep.
And then, of course, he has, we can tell, the SDS 100. because it has that illuminated green light. And then he got the Unication, desk charger with speaker.
Yeah, those are the fancier ones. I just had the regular charger. Didn't have anything on it. Back when I was on the fire department, we had those Minotaur pagers, and we had those white curved chargers that had an external antenna and a loudspeaker. And I tell you what, that thing at 3 o'clock in the morning, when that thing would go off, it would, not only knock you out of bed, it would knock you into the next county.
Yeah, I mean those pagers are really cool. I mean, even the Unication products. Unfortunately, Scanner Master is no longer carrying them, but those Unication pagers are great.
Yeah, and they work really well too. And scanners have found a ways to adapt them to be used as monitoring devices versus just alert pagers like they were intended.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we've got a couple of unit and base mobiles on the stack. We've got the SDS 200 with that large screen. We got the 536 HP, and I believe that could be a
15X
or 15X.
Yeah, 15X on the bottom, according to the submission notes. But those 15Xs are great scanners. I mean, I've got a bunch of them over here for weather alert, like Dave's using it for, or fire tone outs, aviation, railroads.
This is Paul's.
Oh, you're on Paul's. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at notes. Notes for the next guy.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I don't know. That could be a 996 or a.
Yeah, that's Paul's. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the next one down. So
all right, we'll go to the next one down since you're giving a preview of it. So here is Dave. Dave D. He has a weather station right there.
Yep.
And then he has a radio that we're somewhat familiar with, the 125.
Yeah, I've seen those once or twice. The 125.
Yeah, and those Motorola speakers. You've referred to them sometimes as a wheel chuck.
Yeah, they're built out of steel, and they ain't gonna break.
Yeah. And here's your stack of a whole bunch of different radios there. He's got 996P2s and 15Xs, another 996P2, and then of course he has his ham radio portable there.
How do you pronounce that?
I'm not sure.
The best I've ever come up with is Woshin.
Yeah,
like an ocean with a W. Woshin.
Yeah, and this is quite a setup there, and it looks like on his weather station, it looks like it was rain was in the forecast there. Kind of looking close at it.
Looks either the temperatures are in Celsius or it was cold out. 35 degrees.
Yeah, I mean this is up in New York State, so.
Oh, okay, that could be.
Some of these were sent in April, so that when it's.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be more likely. Well, here in April, it only gets up to 90. So.
Now here's the second slide with Dave's photos, and
so that Monitor 31 antenna that's sitting on the black pole.
Yeah.
Those were awesome antennas, and they sold that in a variety of systems. The mobile version, the mag mount version, which he's got there, the one with the whole mount. They sold it as a base station antenna. I love that antenna. It was great. I had about 6 of them up until recently.
Yeah, he made use of the pedestal mount.
Yeah,
that was for the satellite dish, which I've done a similar thing. Here, I actually put up an antenna on Sunday, and I did the similar thing there with a ground plane with a mobile antenna. It seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, now he might actually benefit by putting some sort of ground plane between that pole and the antenna if he's got space.
Yeah, and then look at that, another 396 XT.
Yeah.
So that's the second one this evening, and he's got looks like a cup holder type of mount for that. Works really well. I mean, the 396T. I mean, if you're in a phase 1 digital area, still a great scanner.
Oh yeah. I got a buddy of mine who just acquired a 396T, the older version of that, and he's got it. It says it's the hottest receiver he's got. So
Yeah, I mean those radios certainly were made great and look really cool with the silver
yeah, and they're
plate.
nice and compact. They fit well in the pocket.
So Chuck B didn't submit any details on this, but we can see that he's got two monitoring stations.
Yeah.
One here that's got like a rack, and then he's got a whole bunch of high-end radios there, and and a lot of scanners. You know,
Yeah, I see a couple Home Patrol 1 and 2. Looks like a couple 536s, a 996T, a 15X or a 996 on the bottom part of that rack, and a bunch of ICOM and other manufacturer stuff in the racks. I love rack radios, but this guy takes it to the extreme, so that looks great.
yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, really an awesome layout here. We'll continue on to Brad's layout here. He's got some cool stuff here with various screens, and he's got looks like some classic radios there. Is that right?
Yeah. First off, I like that Chrono screen that I forget the name of it, but that's been on my bucket list for a long time. In fact, I showed it to you at the show the other day.
Yeah.
And the older mechanical ones are pieces of electronic art. It's the older ones. They actually had a film that wrapped around on some rollers, and it would go around in in an endless loop circle with a light in the back. And you see those in a lot of old movies where they've got the president in the situation room and stuff. Now they sell it as a standalone device, like an Apple TV or a Roku device that just plugs into a monitor. And those things are so cool because it shows you the daylight as it moves across the globe, and they're really cool. I'm gonna get one of those one of these days. But yeah, he looks like he's got a whole bunch of vintage radios there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole slew of them. He's actually has the Radio Shack Pro 197. He's had that for 13 years. He actually hosts a Broadcastified feed that covers an area between Gray and Lafayette along I-65.
Oh yeah, between Gary and Lafayette, yeah,
Gary.
Yeah, I've traveled that route a million times.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of cool stuff there. We'll continue on here and take a look at Chuck B's tower here. He's got quite a tower with a whole bunch of different antennas on there. He's got those side arms, so he's got some antennas monitored there as well.
Yeah, I would love to have a tower like that. Look at those directional. Looks like it's a 2-meter beam up the top there, maybe a 6-meter. Kind of hard to tell from scale, but yeah, he's got a tower that most police departments would be proud of.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Okay, so we have Brad W. He's apparently let's see. Oh, did I lose track of myself?
Oh yeah, he's the guy that has the feed between Gary and Lafayette. Yeah, so yeah, we're trying to look at two different documents with the notes here. So sorry, we've messed a couple of them up, but he's got one of those thin clients for to run the feed. And when you're doing something, when you have a computer that's doing one thing only, you don't need the big fancy gaming computer. You can do it with a NUC or a thin client like this. If all it's doing is running a feed, you don't even need Windows 10. You can do it with an old Windows 7 or XP machine. It works great. It's going to sit there and just run that feed all day long, and you're not going to diddle with it.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like a cool setup. We kind of put that radio on top of the area. I mean, it fits perfectly. It's small and compact.
Yeah, and you can put it up out of the way where you're not going to mess with it. So this guy obviously is gone to audio racks for the cabinet, which is where I'm guessing, or that he made it himself maybe, but it looks great. Those faceplates are from Alberta Radio Supply, which I've got some of their stuff here as well. They do make some really nice stuff. And the cabinet looks like it came from Audio Racks, which is, again, where I've gotten some of my cabinets from. And looks great.
Yeah, I like the way this came out. I mean, this is, he's got the two SDS 200s. He's got a 996 P2 and a 996. No, that could be a 15X or an XT. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, no, it's a 996 because it's got the color display.
Yeah, so that's a 996.
Yeah,
and then the 536. But yeah, I mean, and then he's got his rig in there, the radio.
Yeah, to get the Motorola DMR radio.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I do like these cabinets. They do look cool.
Yeah, they are. And I just, obviously I love rack mounting radios, and Audio Racks and Alberta Radio Supply are two of the best suppliers these days for that kind of stuff.
So we get a lot of questions about this with mounting antennas, like on a vehicle like a Jeep. If you have the hard top in there, it's typically a fiberglass top, or if you're running the soft top, it's a cloth. Bob was able to use the metal that was in the front there and run a mag mount up to the front.
When I was working the phones for Scanner Master, that question came up a lot of where do I mount an antenna on a Jeep where there's not a lot of metal. And, tell people to just take a magnet and start popping and finding someplace that's metal. And you can either put a magnet mount or an NMO mount on it. Some guys mounted their antennas on the outside tire rack, swing out spare tire rack. And this is another great solution here where there's a little bit of metal on the front. And as long as you don't have the mind having the antenna right in front of you, go for it. That's a great place to put it.
Yeah, it looks really nice. And he mounted his 396 P2 right there. It looks good.
Yeah, 325 P2, yeah. And it looks like he's got the audio going into the stereo system.
Yeah, it looks like it. Sorry, I misspoke. The 325 P2, sorry.
Yeah. So that's a neat thing. I've done that occasionally too. Most cars these days come with an auxiliary jack, and you can just take an audio cable and patch the headphone jack into the auxiliary jack, and you can blast the scanner audio through your car stereo system. Imagine having a 400-watt, 15-speaker car stereo system with the police channels coming out. They could tear it in the next county.
Yeah. Here's another setup. He's got another 325 P2, and then he's got an antenna here, which is it looks like this could be like an SUV type of vehicle where it has a back opening, and this looks really nice. It's a RAV4.
Yeah,
it's a RAV4, and he's got a tri-band radio antenna in the back there. Tram 1089 tri-band antenna. It says it works great, but yeah, this looks really cool for the RAV4. The radio is within arm's reach. The screen is,
and you can see the display.
Yeah, and this works. It looks like he was listening to the to our friends over at the Scanner School. During when this photo was shot.
Yeah, on the podcast. Yeah. So well, like I said, the cars these days don't have a lot of room for radio installation in a lot of instances. So you might have to use a handheld scanner for your mobile, and that's a great way of doing it. It looks nice and neat. He's got an angle connector on there for the antenna to keep wires from hanging out all over the place. And he's using the USB cable to power the radio. If you're going to be riding the car for 6 hours, you don't want to be burning through batteries. And he's got a good antenna, and that's what you need. You need a good antenna. The radio itself is not as important as your antenna when it comes to reception.
Yeah, that's for sure. Here's another slide. So he's using Rimtronics antenna. We've been talking about this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That Rimtronics 842B, which is the B and C version of it.
Yep.
He's got that on a 325P2, and then for his that monitors all digital channels, and then he's got the classic BC92XLT. He's got that on a Diamond RH77CA, and that's monitoring all of his analog channels.
Yeah.
This is a great way to be able to do that. A lot of people ask us, what do I do in my old analog radios? This is an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Dedicate your digital radio to monitoring what it does best, digital communication, and then
Sure.
use your old analog radio to monitor what's left for analog communications.
Yeah, and in most areas, there's still analog stuff to listen to. Obviously, we always talk about railroads, marine and aircraft, but there might be public works channels, some of the old police or fire channels. Maybe the fire paging goes out over analog. There's still, and a lot of police departments have gone to digital. Will use their old analog channels for car to car, and sometimes that's even more interesting than the dispatch stuff.
Yeah, I mean, certainly is. Let's continue on and take a look at what else is here for us. Now, Jason, he's got a couple of radios that are here. He's using, of course, a remote head for his BCT-15 Home Patrol 2, which you can see photographed there, which is mounted towards the top,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And then, of course, the SDS 200. And then he's got a couple of antennas, of course, for the regular radio, which probably includes satellite and
Yeah.
FM radio. We've got all these shark fins now, basically, for antennas. And then, of course, he's got a couple of NMO mounts, for the other antennas. And he's actually using one of those SP 1300 splitters, so which comes in handy if you're only sharing like two scanners with one antenna. That SP 1300 is a good option.
Yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of loss, and it does work very well for for that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of loss, but it's not that bad. They really work pretty well. And he's using. I like the way he's mounted those scanners in the console, the center console. I did that in one of my vehicles, and I just unscrewed the lid for it. And when I wanted to cover it, I just placed the lid on the top. And then when I'm driving, I just pick the lid off and put it in the back seat so that it wouldn't flap back and forth as I'm driving and hitting the brakes and such. So that's those are another ideas, and that's why I like these shack pictures, because it gives you ideas of things to use in the future.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's continue on here. Jason also, has these photos, which kind of shows off the remote head, which is the RH96, which is connected to a 15X. And then he's got his Motorola rig right there, which is looks like it's right in a glove box. From what it looks like.
We did that with our detective cars. We put remote heads on the radios and put the heads in the glove box and put the trunk units, in trunk, and it worked out really well. You just had to find a place to put the mic. So we put a mic clip on the top of the you can see where I'm pointing on my screen here on the top of the glove box, and that held the mic in there, and it worked really well. Nobody, you close the glove compartment, you have no idea there's a radio in
there. Yeah. Let's continue on. So 125 AT, certainly a workhorse for analog. Mm-hmm. Looks like he's got that connected to possibly some sort of disc cone type of antenna in the background there on a tripod.
Yeah, and he's got quite an arrangement of adapters on there. Looks like that that comes out to an N connector, which is going to an SMA, and then that goes to an SMA to BNC adapter. So I'm assuming that he has other antennas with an SMA connector, which he may use with that also, like an SDS or a 436.
Yeah, so he just keeps all the stuff together. Let's take a look at Jim's setup here, which is a really nice setup. He's running a multi-screen computer setup, another unication radio, and then we've got a couple of Uniden radios, and looks like a couple of two-way radios down below.
Yeah, he's got a couple Motorola like XTL or XTS's, an SDS 200 and 996, the G5 with the speaker amplified speaker base. On the computer, he's running radio reference, and it looks like some sort of an SDR program with the Spectrum monitor.
Yeah, I mean, this looks really cool just to be able to.
He's got 3 RTL SDRs. I should actually read the captions here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool with with all the radios right below the monitors. So, you know, he can just look up at the monitors and look down when he wants to continue on there.
Oh yeah, XTL 2500 and XTL 5000. So yeah, those are great Motorola radios. They were used for digital trunking, and you can also use them for conventional.
Here's more of his photos here, and we've seen this before with the portables using those those bookends.
Yep.
And you know, just using the clip on the back of the radio allows it to be a great stand for these radios. The bookends really make it look nice.
Yeah.
And then of course, you know, there's an SDS 100 looking good right there in the middle, and then we've got a couple of mobile radios. Looks like really nice. Yeah, and then another Motorola portable.
Yeah, it's got the XTS, which is the portable version of the mobiles we saw in the previous slide, and a couple BCT 15Xs. And like I said, though, if you're listening to analog, the 125s and the 15s are awesome for that.
Yeah, and the Rimtronics antenna for the SDS 100.
Yeah, you and I, we had the design idea for that. We told them to make sure that they trimmed the mount to fit the SDS 100, and they did.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I'm sure they've sold tons of them.
Yeah, and it looks like he's also got an SMA adapter on the cable, so he can hook that up to his, his outside antenna system. You might have multi-couplers. You see the pigtail there?
Yeah, it's right over. You can't see. I guess.
Yeah, right between the Motorola and the SDS on the top of the shelf there.
All right, let's take a look at Alan B's photos. So look at this. A lot of Uniden radios tonight. We do see a couple of Radio Shacks and GREs in this photo, but a vast majority of tonight's radios are Uniden. You know, looking at the cabinet that's in the top left, there's some classic radios in there, and of course some new radios in there. The BC 895 XLT, which I've owned several of those.
People swear by those, and that's one of the very few Uniden radio series, the 895, 898, the 9000 and stuff. I never had one of those.
Yeah, I've had several of those, and I loved love those radios. I mean, they work great. You can see that there's the another SDS 100 and 200. I mean, so wide variety of Uniden radios. Even has the BC RH96. Looks really good.
Yeah, I like that old Radio Shack shortwave receiver. I did have one of those. I had the X140, I think, which was a couple generations before that. But those were pretty decent receivers back in the in the analog tuning dial days.
Yeah. Let's take a look. So Roger is made use of one of those cube shelves. Usually you can put in those cloth bins in there.
Yeah.
And this makes for a perfect thing to be able to put your radios in. And of course, he's got a Motorola radio there and another radio, and plus the SDS 200 and the external speaker.
Yeah, and I like the fact that he's using a dog bowl for the ground plane on the antenna. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean, whatever works. I mean,
yeah,
some people, unfortunately, they're in an apartment or a condo and they're not able to put an antenna on the outside. So you find that sweet spot in the apartment or condo that you're going to get some good reception.
yeah,
Add a little bit of a ground plane, and you've got yourself an antenna setup.
yeah, yeah, and you know what? It works. It doesn't have to look very fancy, but it does the job. And I did that a similar thing when I moved into this house. I just grabbed a couple cake pans out of the kitchen and I put those on top of a shelf. And it worked great until my wife needed to use them for cooking.
Yeah.
She wasn't happy.
So this is actually avid viewer of ours, and clearly rail fan. 125 AT, loud and proud right there in display. And of course, looks like he's got even the carrying case. And of course, the scanner guys website. So this is, I believe, Let's Go Rail Fanning.
Yeah.
Um, this is his setup. Perfect. I mean, this is what you need. Basically, you got the computer right there. You're able to program those radios with ease. And of course, this can be a little listening area. Looks great. I mean, I love this.
Yeah. And I've had both of those issues of the magazines there, the Locomotive Annual and the Montana Rail Link edition of trains from a few months back. I've got that one around here someplace. But yeah, I mean, you just we talk about the 125 all the time, and it's just perfect for rail fanning.
Yeah, looks good. Let's continue on. So William E, this is his shack. Yeah, a lot of rack mounted radios here. He's got quite a cluster in between the radios and the speakers.
Yeah.
Um,
So it looks on the far right, he looks like he's running a bunch of max tracks for ATCS. That's the automatic train control system.
mhm.
And for those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's data signals that are put out either on 900 megahertz or VHF, and it shows indications of signals and switches and track occupancy. And scanists and rail fans can decode that and aggregate all that data and share it across the internet, so you can pretty much see what a dispatcher screen would look like for the railroads. And it looks like he's got six um, max tracks that are decoding that information. So that's great stuff. I used to host a couple of those feeds in the past when I lived in an area that had that, and it really worked nice.
He's also has a Broadcastify feed that's
Mhm.
for the railroads in his area, and he actually runs the audio through a compressor and an equalizer. So basically, even cleaning up that audio before it hits the airwaves on radio, excuse me, on Broadcastify. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. I mean, when I hosted a feed on Broadcastify for the railroads, I was very particular as well for sound. I wanted to make sure that that I was trying to put out the best signal as possible, and then the sound quality, I wanted it to be absolutely good. So when people
Yeah.
did use the feed, they were able to hear what was going on. But
Yeah.
look at the other,
Great that he puts that investment into to do it right.
yeah. I mean, look at the other racks, Rich, that we have here.
Yeah.
Looks like some more. I'm just trying to look at all of his notes, but it looks like there's some more um, RH96s. It looks like on the top of
Yeah.
you know, I mean, so we're seeing a lot of those remote heads this evening.
Yeah, and he's got a couple 10U cabinets and a couple 8U cabinets for the speakers. And it looks like was an R70 or R7000. I'm trying to
I'm
find
not.
the notes here. The
I'm,
ICOM, it's either an R71 or look, no, it's got to be an R7000. And then two 996Ts. And he's got the Novex Rock, Novexcom rack, if I can speak properly today, for the ICOM and for the speakers. I like those handles on there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks just really good.
Mhm.
I mean, that's awesome. That thank you so much for actually setting up, the data for the for us to be able to, when we rail fan, to be able to see where
Mhm.
these trains are. I mean, it looks like certainly it's quite a commitment with equipment and all, and even
Yeah.
providing a radio reference feed for the railroads. I know a lot of rail fans will use their scanner trackside, and also they'll use a feed because
Mhm.
you may be situated in a spot along the line where things are coming out of a yard, and they can kind of get a heads up from listening to your feed
Yep.
as well. So, I mean, what an awesome setup. Let's continue on. So, we can never say enough about the Stridesburg multi-couplers, and they're right here, and he's got
Yeah.
three different ones.
So it looks like he's got them mounted on a rack or on a panel anyway, and then he runs them to the radios. So, um, this is some pretty professional installation on it, and he's got everything labeled, so he knows what's what, which is really cool.
Yeah, I have two Strasbourg multi-couplers in this room with me.
Hmm.
One's connected to this 800 megahertz antenna that's right here, and then of course I have my wideband antenna on the roof. So I have those labeled just so I can keep track of it. I even labeled some of the cables in case I
Yeah.
disconnect from a scanner, and I got to remember if this is the wideband or the 800 megahertz.
And I can't say enough about labeling cables when it comes to that. When you got multiple antennas, you got to have labels on them so that you know what it is. Because 6 months from now, you're going to forget. Okay, was this cable for the discount or was this for the Yagi? Yeah, and so the brain tends to forget those type of things. So yeah, great for labeling it. That's great, and this is a nice shack, Bill.
All right. Well, that kind of wraps up our slideshow presentation for the shack. So we want to remind you, um, if you're looking to submit your photos, I just got an email while we were talking. So if you want to send in some shack photos, you can email them over to the scannerguys@gmail.com. That's the scannerguys@gmail.com. If you have scanner related questions, let's say if you're purchasing scanners, don't send it to there. You want to send it over to our friends over at Scanner Master. You can ask them questions about scanners and what to purchase, and if you're looking for stock on particular items, you can email them there at support at Scanner Master. Don't be looking for us at Scanner Master. We're not there. So certainly email them with any of your scanner questions. What I'm going to do is just go real quick through the slideshow presentation that we have left. I just want to remind you that the Scanner Guys are brought to you by viewers like you. Uh, Thank you for supporting the Scanner Guys by purchasing merch at our store and then using our affiliate link, which is listed in the description below on this video. We get a percentage of the sales that you purchase at Scanner Master. So make sure you use that affiliate link. And a special thanks to Scanner Master. You can give them a call Monday through Friday at 1-800-722-6637. And of course, shop them online by the affiliate link that we have below. And definitely check that out. Train Aficionado Live will be back on Wednesday, June the 1st of 2022. So definitely tune in. That's actually the wrong times. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So definitely tune in at our normal time, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Pacific, for the scanner, for Train Aficionado Live. Follow, like, and subscribe to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And the Scanner Guys will be back next month for the second Wednesday of the month, which will be June the 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We haven't decided on a topic for the show, but I'm sure we'll have an announcement relatively soon. If you're watching us on your iPhone or iPad or Android, you can watch us on the big screen. Yes, if you got Roku or Apple TV, download the YouTube app, and you can watch us right on your TV and enjoy the shows that way. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to our social media as well: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at the Scanner Guys. And check out the website, scannerguyshow.com. Certainly purchase swag and all the things that we have to offer. We're going to take a little bit of time to answer your questions and also kind of talk about what we learned at Dayton. So I've gotten a lot of feedback on videos that people are looking for. Clearly, software and how-to videos is certainly on the bucket list of things for people to have us do. So that's certainly a big thing, which I'm going to start hopefully working on some videos as soon as I get a little bit more time. I'm hoping next month. And we want to be able to do a series of videos where we can kind of talk about the key things with some of the software out there. For the most part, many of you are using current radios that are using the Sentinel software, which is all your Home Patrol style radios from the Home Patrol 1 and 2, then the 436, 536, SDS 100, 200. So we'll definitely do a video, a live video, and then of course a how-to video on the channel as well. So be on the lookout for that. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications on that. That was one of the major things. Another thing that people mentioned is they can't get enough of the SDSs, 100 and 200. So we'll definitely do another spin on that as well. I'm just trying to remember some of the other feedback that I got. It was a lot of software. People are looking for software. Maybe we'll touch again on the GPSs. We had a couple of people come out to the booth and ask us questions about that.
And we got those questions answered. We had a couple kind of very specific questions, and we gave the answers to it. And the guy tried it that evening and came back the next day and said it worked like a champ. So he was happy.
Yeah. We met a lot of you at the Hamvention. I just can't say enough. I really do appreciate every one of you that have came out. Some of you came out as far as Canada, Massachusetts, North Carolina, and some of you came out just to see us. Chris Schultz from Michigan. It was so nice meeting you and your dad. Just looking at your comment here, you had fun at the Dayton Ham Fest, the Aviation Museum, the Air Force Museum was very cool. And I'm sure that's awesome being able to see Air Force One. We figured, when we did that show, a lot of you were going to be in the area. Why not check out some of the sites? And that's certainly a really cool museum. So we thank you, all of you that came out. And unfortunately, some of you that weren't able to come out, we tried to go live as much as we could. I mean, last week we actually ran 2 full shows. In case you missed it, we had the Scanner Guys with a bonus episode on Wednesday. And then we did Train Aficionado Live trackside, which was very interesting, where we were operating an iPad and 2 iPhones doing the show. Of course, there was some hiccups with it, but I think all in all, it was a lot of fun. We actually got to see, and within 45 minutes, 3 trains pass us. And
even my wife watched it, and she thought it was great.
Yeah. I mean, that is awesome. But a lot of good things here. Chris Schultz mentioned if we end up doing Dayton next year, he'll want to come out early and watch trains with us. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We were at Glendale, and it's a great spot for rail fanning. Of course, it's milepost 15. You can be right next to the track safely in a public parking lot, and you can watch all the trains going by. And
it seemed to be a popular spot for rail fanning out there too.
Yeah, the beautiful Glendale Station, which is now the Historic Society's building, I believe now.
Yeah, we met a few other rail fans out there while we were there, and that was a lot of fun. And that was a lot of fun doing that show live. So we'll have to do some more of that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at some of the other comments. Oh, yes. Traffic centers are quite interesting. I actually worked in Boston for a period of time for a traffic company out there, and we had a whole bunch of cameras across Boston, and then we also had a whole bunch of scanners, and we actually broke out the state into a couple of different regions. So, somebody was on the south desk and somebody was on the north desk. And then, of course, coordinating, the two planes that we had during rush hour. And then, of course, dealing with the WBZ copter, which we had a reporter up on that as well. So, it was a lot of fun working those rush hours in the city of Boston. And
And
that's really, really cool seeing your new traffic reporting center in your new house.
yeah, and the funny thing about it is he's like 10 miles from my house, but it takes about 2 hours to get there. And here in the Phoenix area, we have our GMRS radio organization, and they run a traffic net in the evening and morning rush hours. And it is really, really good. So if you're in the Phoenix area, listen to 462.55 during rush hour, and you can hear all the traffic reports. And he's one of the guys. And then there's another guy, Gary, that does a lot of those shots as well. And so Fireman 57, he's one of the that was Bill's William E's pictures, and he's got a lot of inspiration from some of my rack stuff. So thanks for that, Bill. That's it's great to see that people can share the knowledge, as it were. Let's see here. Art enjoyed the live streams. We did 1 and 2 on Thursday, a couple on Friday, and a couple more on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, try to do as much as we can.
Yeah,
I mean, we had a good steady flow of people that came out to the booth on Friday, so we were able to, we tried to spend as much time with everybody that came out to the booth. I mean, I was just amazed how far people drove just to come out and see us, and then
and
we
how many
appreciate.
people were wearing our shirts there.
Yeah, and we appreciate every one of you for supporting the show, and certainly, this show wouldn't be possible without you guys. I mean, certainly you guys give us feedback and give us show ideas and help us to grow and build the show, and we really appreciate it.
All right, so when I was saying that those radios were pronounced Woshin, apparently the manufacturer says it's Walkton. So I was pretty close, So and of course we have to say hello to Joe Bearcat. Hope you're doing well. And the Geocron, I could not remember the name. I had, my brain fade was in full swing today. So Geocron, that's that clock with the day night on it, and the device itself is about $400. And there's a couple subscription packages you can get with that that show different things for radio operations. And I think if you just buy the unit, the clock by itself, there's no cost for a subscription. But if you want the radio add-ons and such, there is a subscription cost for that. But those Geocrons are neat. And if I can con the wife into doing it, you might see another monitor in back here one of these days. We were talking about the F-150, the guy with the SDS 200 in his center console. Well, apparently those things are really deep. So that will give you a lot of room for the wiring that go underneath it for the antenna and the power and the speaker. So, but means you're going to have to use a bracket, of course, or, you can use that stick-on Velcro, depending on the weight of the radio. I've had good luck with that stuff. And John was one of the guys who came and saw us at the show. He had some issues with his 996, and he got that fixed. So real good, John. I appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with us. And I'm very happy you got your radio fixed. I know he was, having some technical issues with his radio, and I'm glad he got that going again.
Yeah, I mean, that is totally awesome. We've got a couple other comments which I'm going to post right here.
Sorry about that. I was turning it off. You were turning it.
Okay, there we go. So just purchased an SDS 200. Do you guys still sell an external GPS for it, or is a chip shortage still an issue? The Scanner Master should sell the GPS kit. It's the one of the simplest setup out of the whole entire
Yeah.
kit. It's basically the telephone cable and that little box. You don't the GPS antenna is actually powered by the radio. When we did our GPS show, that's the easiest
Yeah.
configuration out of
Plug the
all.
gray wire into the back of the radio and the other end of it to the GPS unit, and you're done.
Yeah.
And
So
it is in stock.
yeah, so you'll have to check with Scanner Master just to see, check their website to see if it is back in stock. But it is the GPS kit.
Yeah, it's the BC-S GPS Universal GPS kit, and it comes with all kinds of cables. It works with any unit in scanner that supports GPS, and it comes with all the adapter cables and everything. But and like you said, for the SDS, all you need is the gray wire and the little box, and just plug it in, and you're done.
Yeah, so that door, when that came out initially on the 436, and then eventually to the Home Patrol, not the Home Patrol, but the
SDS 100.
SDS 100. That was my big sticking point. When I remember when those radios came out, I basically said to people that were going to be changing out that SD card to be very careful.
Yeah.
Take your time. Like as I said over the phone, basically when you go to do this, you want to be gentle with it because you can pop it off very easily off the hinges. Doesn't mean you broke it. It just needs to be put back in. And then when you do pop that hinge up, make sure you pay attention on how the card slides out. So what you want to do is once you put the new card in, or you're programming that card and then putting it back in, make sure you're paying attention when you take it out so you can put it right back in.
Yeah, and that's what happened, Chris. The little metal thing popped off, and and then we were able to get it put back in there for him at the booth, and it took a minute or two, but it's a pretty simple thing if you know what you're doing and you have the finger dexterity to do it. Chances are, if you pop that little metal clip off, it's not going to be damaged. And if it is, typically there are two little tabs that hold it on, can sometimes get bent out a little bit. You just very carefully bend them back in a little bit, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so somebody's asking about the GMRS Connection Fest.
So at the Arizona GMRS Club in the Phoenix area, we're having what's called a Connection Fest, which is kind of a meet and greet, day-long radio extravaganza we're doing as part of the club. We're providing lunch. We're going to have presentations. We're going to have technicians out there to test your radios and such. And I'm going to talk to the powers that be and see if they want me to do any presentations on scanners. I will probably be wearing my Scanner Guys shirt there. I'm a charter member of that club. I've been a member from the start. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're in the Phoenix area, go to the AZGMRS webpage, and you can read all about it. And you don't have to be a club member. You don't even have to have a radio license to attend.
That's awesome. It gives a lot of people an opportunity to be able to learn more about GMRS communication and see if they want to become a part of it. And the radios are not as expensive to be able to purchase. They're analog. A lot more affordable and a lot simpler to program. You're not worrying about digital formats and such.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to program them. Of course, it all depends on the batteries, on the computer these days. They used to buy crystals for all the radios, and now it's all, of course, programmable. And it's not hard, but some of the radios can be a little confusing. I had I was listening to a couple of our guys talk about a specific model radio, and they're having some problems back and forth, and they finally got it going. But some radios are easier than others to program.
Yeah, certainly. And certain radios, can be a little bit challenging, but fun once you figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Like those unication radios were a bit of a beast programming, but once I had it figured out, I could program it pretty easily.
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing about it is, like Joe's saying, like it's good that a lot of these ham fests are still around. Of course, Hamvention, and is one of them, and then the other one, what is it?
Vacation.
Hamcation.
Yeah,
Down in
I'd love to go
Danvers.
down to that one in Florida.
Yeah, definitely the two of them. But I think we had a great time. Um, at Hamvention. I'm not too sure if we'll be there again um, next year, but I mean, hopefully we'll be able to make an appearance here in some way or some form. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it just
Hmm.
we put together it was kind of a last minute thing, where they kind of told us, okay, do you want to man the booth for Scanner Master as the scanner guy? So we said sure. So we ended up putting it together relatively quickly, and I'm quite pleased. The turnout that we had
Yeah.
was amazing.
Oh, especially on Friday, which is kind of funny because usually Saturdays are much busier than Fridays at Hamvention. But this year, everything is kind of screwy this time. But we had a whole boatload of people there all day Friday, and you got to check out that video on the YouTube channel. It's very well done, and it really is. It shows a lot of what was going on at Hamvention. So
Well, the funny thing about it is it's not Hamvention without the rainstorm and the wind.
yeah,
We had the rainstorm and the wind, which was crazy.
yeah. The booth next to us has a bunch of banners set on stands on the top of their booth, and the wind picked up, or they turned on a fan or something like
Yeah,
that.
they
And all of a
turned on the
sudden,
fan above it. It was getting kind of muggy in the room,
yeah,
and the fan actually blew over some of their signage, and of course they had to turn it down to a lower speed.
yeah.
Um, if you're interested in watching that video after our live show tonight, I just posted it in the chat, so you can click on that link and watch the video. It's about 15 minutes long. We basically, I shot video of setup day, and then I included as many photos as we could get of all the people that have came to visit us on both Friday and
Saturday.
Saturday. And then, of course, if you watch towards the end of the video, show friend Tom Swisher made an appearance in the video, which is really cool. It kind of wrapped up things
Yeah.
for that. So definitely watch the video. Certainly share it on your social media as well, for those people that are interested in scanners or ham radio, just to be able to get a kind of a behind the scenes tour of it, and then seeing what 2022's Hamvention had to offer this year, and hopefully next year will be bigger and better. And then if I do get the opportunity to be able to go back there again, I hope to do a similar video like that, even showing a little bit more behind the scenes and of us, and also behind the scenes of of meeting our fans and such. Scanner Master did not have any equipment for sale there, so it was just a appearance of us. So
Yeah.
we did tell people that stopped at the booth, if they were looking to purchase anything, they could certainly go to the Scanner Master website and purchase those items there. I mean, unfortunately, with the supply chain shortage, it's hard to have inventory at a show when we're going to take it away from the website buyers. So why not just order it directly through the website? And that's what we did this year. Rich, some questions about we kind of talked to one of the people that visited the booth about Chicago, and
Yeah.
and I think we even talked about it a little bit on a show. This is starting to come around with some encryption. And it looks like Zone 2 is.
Well, yeah, two zones are encrypted so far. So, yeah. So, for years, and I'm talking 40, 45 years, Chicago police have used 460 meg channels, 13 zones, and 8 citywides on 460 meg analog repeaters. They've had some issues. First off, the equipment's getting old. It's not as flexible as they would like. They had some problems with intentional interference as well. So, and they have been planning on going to a P25 system for a long time anyway. So that system is building out. And in the meantime, they are starting to crypt some of the existing analog zones going to P25 encryption. And the plan is that when they do get switched over to the P25 trunking system, that the 13 zone dispatch repeaters channels are going to be broadcast on Broadcastify as a free feed with a little bit of a delay built into it, of course. So they will have an official feed so that people will be able to still listen to Chicago police. It'll just be a little bit of a delay, and they will have the opportunity to cut the feed if the stuff's hitting the fan and they have to. But people aren't going to be totally locked out. It's just going to be a little more practical for what they're doing and to eliminate some of the problems that they've had.
And we did have actually things to give out. We did have a couple of us swag items that we're able to hand off to people that showed up at the booth, which was awesome. I mean, actually, one of them was our koozies, which we actually made ourselves versus having one of our vendors that hosts the store. We actually made those koozies ourselves here in the studios. But yeah, some really cool stuff. Meeting all of you and then also checking out everything. Yeah, so definitely keep those shack photos coming. Can't stress it enough. Let me post that email address one more time. So we're looking for shack photos. We love to do the show again. Mobile shacks, base shacks, even if you're a rail fan, your trackside shack. What do you bring with you when you're rail fanning? We can include some of those photos during that show as well. What you bring rail fanning or aviation watching if you're going out to an airport. What is your go-to rig or radio? So you can email that to thescannerguys@gmail.com. So certainly keep those coming. The more that we get, we're able to do another one of these shows again where you actually take the spotlight and we just sit back and look at all the photos.
Yeah. Got a couple of quick questions here. So encryption is not included in the FCC license because it basically all it's doing is it's changing the audio that's being transmitted. So there's no need to alter the license to include encryption. So as long as the system is licensed properly as a P25, most of the time, P25 system, there is no need to indicate whether or not they're going to do encryption. It will show up in the radio reference database once that information is submitted. It'll show up as either DE or TE on the mode column, but it's not part of the licensing. And when we're talking about Chicago police going to be encrypted, as far as I know, Chicago fire channels are going to stay in the clear for dispatch. They will likely have some encrypted tactical and command channels, but as far as I know, and of course that can change at any time, there's no current plans to encrypt the fire channels, the dispatch channels anyway.
Well, a lot of times with encrypting those communications, it does hinder the reception.
Yeah,
and that's one of the drawbacks with the encryption is it's also another thing that the digital radio has to process. And with fire departments, they're going into buildings, some portions of a building that typically are not not tested. I mean, a lot of times when a new building's being built, the fire department will go in there and see how their radios work and then figure out things. But yeah, I mean, when you're at a fire scene, and you're going in there, you need the radio to work.
Yeah, and there's issues already with even unencrypted digital systems when they are being used by guys with masks, with Scott packs and such. So digital is an issue with the fire department. Chicago Fire Dispatch channels are P25 conventional UHF repeaters, but I think most of the fire ground channels are still analog for that reason. And eventually, when they do switch over to the trunk system, as far as we know, most of that stuff's going to stay unencrypted.
Yeah, I mean, at least having the ability to monitor the fire departments, you still have a glimpse of what's going on in your community, because a lot of times the fire department's responding to a motor vehicle accident, a shooting. They're responding, to provide, services outside of what the police are doing. So that's a really great thing that, like, even though the police department's gone encrypted, doesn't mean you're totally shut out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of those calls the fire department's going to as well. And then, is there anything special he needs to do to listen to the VHF Marine channels on an SDS? Not really. You can either program those into a favorites list, or you can use the nationwide system, whichever way you find easier. And I've used my SDS on some of those VHF channels, and I've not had any problem with it. It seems to work pretty well. But again, I wouldn't go out and buy a $700 SDS 200 to use for Marine channels when you can do it with a $200 BCT 15. So
yeah, or even 125 AT if you're looking for a portable option.
Yeah. So I think that's the end of the line here, my friend.
All right. Well, we want to just remind you that next week is Train Aficionado Live. So make sure you tune in and listen to or watch, I should say, listen or watch, depending on if you're driving, then listen. But if you're able to watch us without being distracted, then of course watch the show. Train Aficionado Live will be back on Wednesday, June the 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So definitely tune in for that. And then, of course, the Scanner Guys will be back for the second Wednesday of the month, which is June the 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So we got some great programming coming up. We're also going to be trying to add in some more interviews on both shows. Currently finishing up an interview that I just recorded the other night for Train Aficionado Live. That may actually air on the 1st. I'm just going to see that it'll either air on the 1st or it'll air on the show that's going to be on the 22nd of the month. So we're really looking forward to posting those. Question about, how many scanners do I have, and have I ever done a video, putting them up on YouTube? Currently right here in the studio, I currently have 6 scanners. I actually have 2 in front of me. I have an SDS 200, and then we also have a 996 P2, and then I've got my 4 536 HPs. Vast majority of my stuff is railroads that I monitor, and of course, I've got local police departments here as well. So, I may consider doing something with a short little video showing what I have here in the shack. It's pretty basic. It suffices from what I need. But yeah. What else is there? Is there any other?
Well, I had a great time seeing you guys over the weekend. That was a lot of fun. And again, thank you for putting up with me, or putting me up, or whichever way you want to put it.
Yeah. The maritime channels. Yeah. So the 146, Chris Schultz, gives a recommendation to that radio for doing the maritime channels. Yeah. You don't need anything too high end for the maritime channels, really. And the same thing for railroads and aviation. I mean, that's why we talk about the 125 AT each and every week. Yeah. What is this here?
Clips from the train stations there. So, well, we did the ones from Glendale. What about the Cincinnati Union Station? That'd be a good video for.
Yeah, I haven't. I'll have to do some more video. I basically, a lot of it's still photography that I've been doing, but I'm going to incorporate some more video. on both of the channels. Like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, we had a whole slew of people asking about, programming with the Sentinel software, programming with Arc XT, programming with Arc 500, or even programming with on the Butel end of things, Arc Patrol, or Arc 536. What does the professional software do for Butel versus the basic? So I'm going to try to do a new spin on some of those videos. I was actually able to purchase from our trip over at Micro Center a very inexpensive laptop that's got Windows on it. So I'm going to be able to record some videos, sharing my screen, kind of showing what the software will do. So that's something that I'm going to work on hopefully next month, and then we'll slowly release those. And then I'm planning on, I'm thinking probably in July we'll do, the two scanner guys shows. We'll kind of do a tribute to software, how to use it, some of the basics, and that'll kind of marry into, if I can get the videos done, kind of marry into the live shows, so we'll kind of give you kind of a preview, and then the recorded videos will kind of give you that step-by-step type of thing. So we may actually do a video and then have that premiere on the night, and then have a Q&A after that. So a couple of things in the works. I mean, you guys gave a lot of great feedback during the show.
Just writing down an idea for a show that I'll discuss with you later.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff. We're looking forward to doing more programming. I mean, I can't say enough to you guys, that came out from far distances.
Yeah.
It was so nice, just to think of it right now. Mike from Massachusetts, just being able to talk about, rail fanning with him, and then, just being able to talk to all of you that came out, whether it was rail fanning or just, just the various things that we, scanner questions, or, anything that came up. Yeah, Scott, that means a lot to us. We hope to do it again next year. Just to be honest with you guys, Scanner Master basically paid for the booth, and other than that, everything else was expensed on us. Gas, meals, getting there. So we were so thankful and excited to be able to see as many of the fans that came out. I was just blown away by the number of Scanner Guys shirts that we saw. I mean, that was awesome.
All over the place.
See something that we basically put together in a store. And when I set up the store, I wasn't too sure if we were going to sell anything, and we did, and we appreciate that.
And then when we were out walking around, when I was out walking around, I had a couple of guys come up to me, say, "Hey, I saw you on YouTube," and just having that, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing, I mean, we've been doing this show for several years now. It was so nice to be able to get together, Rich, in the same location. And then, you were here almost a week, so we were able to have dinner a couple of times, have a good laugh, be able to hang out, do some rail fanning. I mean, it was funny being able to do rail fanning at the same time of doing a live show, which was really cool. And then our multiple, we posted on social media about going to Micro Center. We actually made multiple trips to Micro Center, like 3 trips to Micro Center.
Yeah. Well, we went back in. We were sitting in the parking lot for half an hour deciding whether or not to go in and get that other item. And we're going to go back and get it.
Yeah. So yeah. And then you ended up making another trip out to Micro Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it certainly was an awesome trip. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it again next year. And I'm hoping that, we'll be able to do it, if we do it next year, bigger and better, maybe a couple more rail fanning live shows now that we kind of got one under our belt. Hopefully we can improve it. And then the other thing too, with, I want to shoot a lot more video next time, so we can really give you guys a behind the scenes look of what it takes to be able to set up and what it looks like behind the scenes. And for those of you that didn't go to the show, be able to see it virtually. When
Yeah.
I did that walkthrough, I tried to walk through the 3 main buildings. They actually announced that a storm was rolling through, so a lot of people had to clear out. So I ended up, it was sad that some of the people left, but the good thing about it is with me walking around the camera, you guys could actually see the booths. A lot of times you get so busy in there that the sea of people, it's hard to be able to see what people have on the on the tables and
Yeah,
stuff.
when you got to force your way in, and when you're holding a camera, it's kind of hard to do that. But you did a great job with those videos. So
Yeah, and then we had right across from us the flag people with the
yeah,
telescoping Barbara,
yeah.
from
Oh, I could recite her spiel from heart.
yeah, because she was, I mean, she did sell some of those telescopic. I don't think they call them telescopic. What is it? There's another term for it. What
Yeah.
do they call it? Flagpole. Yeah, telescoping
Telescope and
flagpole.
flagpoles, yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
and
really
then,
neat.
we had the comic guys on one side, Diamond right in back of us, and we had we helped them out. They helped us out a couple times, and there's a lot of a camaraderie amongst the vendors.
Yeah. And Chris actually made a stop at the Waffle House in
Oh,
Ohio.
that's what we didn't do. We didn't go to Waffle House.
Yeah, we'll have to do that next time.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really cool breakfast places in downtown Cincinnati that have a really good diner theme.
Yeah.
I've went to one of those, and there's another one I want to go to. So there's still a lot of exploring for me. And definitely, if I find a place that's really good, we'll definitely have to take you there the next time. But yeah, definitely we'll have to plan on a Waffle House stop the next time.
Yeah.
I guess that'll wrap it up for this evening. I thank you so much to all of you. I can't stress enough, those of you that are watching the video live that saw us, thank you so much. Those of you that are watching the video after, you have my sincerest thank you for coming out to see us. I mean, it means a lot, and it was awesome to be able to spend some time with you, Rich, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again soon.
Yeah, I had a great time, and I appreciate everything you guys did for me. And it wasn't easy getting up at 3:00 in the morning and taking to the airport.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I actually went to, when I came back, I had a little bit of breakfast and then I went to go lay down for a little bit. And then it was a busy Sunday, everything that would span over a weekend, because I was there all day on Saturday, ended up doing grocery shopping, did some stuff around the house. And then, we put up an antenna on the outside. The things that goodies. Well, Rich, you've got something which I'm probably not gonna. I don't think you should say because your wife can read a closed caption.
No, that's okay. I bought an R8600. She knows about it now. I actually told her, and that's going to go right there where the space that I cleared out for it. And as soon as it gets here, so it should be here in a week or so, I imagine. And that's going to be a lot of fun to play with.
So what I ended up doing is we have I had a satellite dish on the back portion of the house, and I was running a Spectrum Force wideband antenna with mag mount in the back there. I sat it on the arm of the satellite dish, so I was able to pop the satellite dish off. I got one of those 4.5-foot poles, side mounted it to the rig out there, and then put up a ground plane with a mobile antenna, which is the Comet wideband mobile antenna, and it works great. I'm really excited about it. I'm getting a lot more distance on the railroads. So basically, what I picked up at Hamvention was that mobile antenna, the ground plane, and I ended up purchasing the little adapter that I needed to convert from the PL259 to an F connector, because I was using the excuse me, I was using the quad shield coax. So But that was the extent of what I picked up there. I mean, I ended up picking up a couple things at Micro Center, which was awesome. So I'm excited about that. I'll probably post some photos of the setup. I'm quite happy with the antenna setup. I mean, this being a rental, I was able to put up a temporary antenna setup, which is great.
Yeah, I'm jealous because even though I own my house, I'm not allowed to have outside antennas at all. So I'm stuck with attic stuff. But yeah, I get along with it. I knew it going in. So
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about it, it's far back on the roof, you can't see it from the street.
oh,
So,
that's great.
which is even great. But yeah, I'll definitely consider doing a shack tour at some point. I'm actually got this kind of set up the way I wanted it, after swapping out, the computers here. So you can kind of see my shack, and this is also where I spend 40 hours a week because I work remote from home.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely consider that. I think if there's not any more questions, we'll wrap it up for this evening.
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. So I just want to remind you guys to make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to our social media: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at the Scanner Guys. Check out the website, the Scanner Guys Show. Certainly support us, by using the affiliate link down at the bottom of this broadcast, and also shopping our swag. Definitely do that after the broadcast, if you wouldn't mind. Take a look at our behind the scenes, recap of the Dayton Ham Fest. The video is just posted right now in the chat, so definitely watch that and let us know what you think of that. So we appreciate you guys watching each and every week. I'm Jonathan Higgins.
I'm Rich Carlson.
Have a great week and have a safe one.
See you next week. Bye, guys.
All right.